Hello, everybody.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for coming back and tuning in to another episode of Team Sessa Talks.
So excited to be here.
Very excited,
Thanks for
excited.
inviting me,
No
my
problem,
son.
no problem.
In my own house, thank you.
Anytime. I'm excited for this episode actually because we touched on it on our last episode.
I'm a little nervous that you're as excited as you are about this episode.
Yeah, I guess. No, it's interesting, and I know there's a few people that even when they heard the next topic of discussion last week, they were pretty excited to hear about this. So today we're going to be talking about money laundering, and we're going to basically go over, I guess, how they do it.
We're going to talk about a bunch of things. Most people, when you talk about money laundering in real estate, have no idea of its impact on prices. They have no idea of how it affects them. It's you hear a crime where somebody steals money from the bank, through just through the internet, and these accounts are compromised, and you think, oh, okay, and you don't think, how does that affect me? But money laundering affects us street level, and I'm going to talk about that.
Well, it's one of those things. It seems like a victimless crime, right? Because it's those people dealing with their things, but yeah, you're going to get into how it affects us, how it affects anyone that's buying, right? Buying, selling,
or selling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, let's okay. First of all, I think one of the so we're going to talk about how they do it, right?
Yes.
I just want to make sure.
Yes.
Because I know
you got such a big smile on
I know,
your
but
face.
it's because that's the exciting
For those
part.
of you on podcast land that can't see him, he's so excited about learning how to launder money.
That's the exciting part. I don't have any money to launder.
I paid him $20 last week to cut the grass, and now he's thinking it's illegal money, and he's got to somehow launder his $20.
I got to see how I can hide that.
Hide the $20.
So let me start off by asking you, like, is this actually that big of a problem? Because it's not something you hear too often, right?
You know what? Let me give you some numbers that the big reporting stations have put out there for their research. You tell me if it's a big problem. The Financial Post reported in May in the British Columbia real estate market, 5 billion, that's B, not million, but billion with a B, $5 billion were laundered through the BC real estate market last year, 2018. 5 billion.
And that's just BC.
Just BC.
Oh, wow. Okay.
This is a Canada-wide issue. 47 billion were laundered in Canada in real estate in 2018. Global News reported that 28 billion have been laundered in the GTA area. We're talking just real estate. The GTA area since 2008. 28 billion. And the Global News has also reported, in general, money laundering, 100 billion, again with a B, gets laundered in Canada every year.
Wow.
So, is it a big problem?
Well,
tell me.
That sounds like a massive problem. I mean, real estate, it sounds like 47 billion.
It's an industry.
But it takes up, so real estate takes up half of that though, right?
Canada has an oil industry.
Yeah.
It has a lumber industry. It has a money laundering industry.
Wow. But 47 billion in Canadian real estate each year. If those numbers are correct, then that means that's half. That's just about half the total for all the money that gets laundered in Canada.
It's a lot.
Wow.
It's a lot.
That's
it's
insane.
A lot. Just in British Columbia, and I couldn't find this for Toronto, but in BC, they looked up some of the names of suspicious purchases.
Okay.
and the names on title for these homes, you go to land registry, you could see who the home is registered under,
yeah.
right? So in BC, sorry, I'm trying not to laugh, but in BC, some of these homes are registered to Wannabe Ski Bum. That's the name of who owns the home. Super Dad, Domestic Diva. This is reported.
And these are the names that people register on title.
Yeah, and this is reported through the Financial Post. I said Domestic Diva. Another name of a home it's registered on title is Trophy Wife.
Oh my God!
It's a sexy home, I bet. And the most funniest one to me, the name on title is Launderer.
Someone registered the name Launderer as...
That's how brazen they are. That's how simple. That's how they're getting away with it. They registered the home under Launderer. That's the name.
No, I don't think that someone's actually dumb enough to register a home under that name and actually be using it to launder money. I have a feeling it's just
I don't know, but
it's just a joke.
If any of you listening out there work for the RCMP, start on that house. Start your search
You might want to start knocking those doors first. But going back to Super Dad, is that yours? Super Dad sounds like something.
I'm not gonna say.
Super Dad sounds like something you'd register.
I was thinking more Super Duper Dad. But,
wow, I didn't even know that was possible to register names like that. I thought it had to be your legal name, or at least a business name. I didn't know you could just do that.
But even businesses, you register your home under a business. We never really know who the real owner is.
Yeah, that's true.
I could have a business. Have just a regular corporation. 123 Ontario Inc.
Yeah.
And that business can own another business. 456 Ontario Inc.
Yeah.
And that business can own another business. And it's that third business where we purchased the property under that third business name. I'm the real owner of that, all those businesses, but through shareholders and this and that and the other thing, and you never really know who the real owner is.
Wow, that's insane. I really had no idea that you could register under different names, but I guess if it's the company name, so someone named their company Trophy Wife and then decided to.
I don't know. I don't know all the ins and outs of how to do it, but these are facts. This is reported in the news.
Yeah, that's funny, but okay, so I guess that's a good segue into the next topic of discussion here. So
there's that smile on your face.
Now that we know that this is actually an issue and this is rampant in Canada, how do they do it, Pa? Tell us.
They do it very well. That's the summary. The launderers do it extremely well. They're extremely efficient. Mm-hmm. Basically, there's a criminal element out there that has generated they're cash heavy. They have a ton of cash. Let's just, for sake of argument, say they've sold a ton of drugs.
Yeah. And
they have lots of money. They can't just take that money and use it in real life, in just everyday stuff.
Yeah.
Just because it's not like it's.
Oh, we're not talking about like a few $1,000s here. We're talking
hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars.
Okay.
And they need to make that dirty money that they got or made from illegal ways and make it clean. They're definitely not declaring this money on their income tax return, right?
I imagine they wouldn't.
Right. So how do they make the dirty money clean? Well, there's different ways. One way is, and remember, folks, you should know this is by no means an endorsement or a promotion of how to launder money. I am by no means an expert on how to money launder or how to launder money, and no animals were hurt in the making of this podcast. Okay, so here's one way. Let's say I have a ton of money to launder. Mm-hmm. I'm going to use you. You're the one who's going to own the house. You're going to buy a house.
Okay.
You're going to use my dirty money. So I can't just say, here's $1 million, buy the house, because then all the pressure is going to be on you to when people ask where'd the money come from,
Yeah.
you can't say you got it from your criminal father.
Yeah.
So I put it in your name, and I transferred to your account a few $1,000s every month. So we got to plan ahead. So over the course of the year, I've managed to put into your account, let's say, $100,000.
Yeah.
You have a legitimate job. You earn legitimate money. You make a decent income. You just maybe don't have the deposit to buy a house.
Yeah.
But if you saved through your income, you'd be able to actually do that.
Yeah.
To buy a house with a deposit. So what I'm doing is giving you that deposit little by little every month, so it doesn't, so we don't get the eyeballs on you if all of a sudden 100,000 appears in your account.
Yeah,
But, you know, 5,000, 6,000, 9,000, we try to keep it under 10,000 for each deposit. But little by little, you get the money, you buy a house.
Yeah.
So you've bought the home with my illegal money.
Okay.
It's not your home, although it's in your name. You and I have an understanding, otherwise you do something wrong, I'm going to break your leg. But we have an understanding that it's my home, you're just doing this, and I'm rewarding you for it. I'm giving you money for it. Then you have mortgage payments, and you've qualified for the mortgage legally. Now you have mortgage payments. Well, I also give you the money to make those mortgage payments. So now that home at some point gets sold. All that money coming in, let's say you bought it for $1 million. Even if you sold it for $1 million,
Yeah.
the amount of money put into the home was maybe $100,000 for deposit.
Yeah.
Well, all of a sudden that $100,000 now becomes good money because you sell it for what you bought it for, $1 million. You pay off the mortgage, and now that $100,000 is left again. You know, obviously there's other fees and so forth involved, but just for simple math, that $100,000 now is now legitimate. If anyone says, "Hey, where'd the $100,000 come from?" Well, I sold the house, paid off my mortgage. This is what's left, and then you give me the money.
Wow. But then, I mean, in that case, it's so there's got to be other people involved. There's no way that this is happening.
There usually is. There's usually lawyers involved. There's usually accountants involved. There's usually financial advisors involved.
Yeah.
There's realtors that are involved.
Yeah. Wow.
But not always does everybody know what's going on.
Yeah.
You know, if you told the realtor, "Hey, I want to buy a house,"
Yeah.
one of the first things he's going to say is, "Are you pre-approved?" And you say, "Yeah, I got $100,000 in the bank for deposit. I've been saving." You think the realtor is say, "Well, can you prove that you earned that money yourself?" You think the realtor's going to tell you that?
No, of
He's
course
excited
not.
he's got a new client.
Yeah.
He's happy to go house shopping with you.
Yeah.
And so we never really know who the real owner is. And to the realtor that's helping you buy it, he doesn't care.
Yeah. Wow.
Right?
That's
and the
interesting.
lawyer might not care, and the mortgage person is not going to care.
Yeah.
Nor should they.
Yeah.
Right?
I guess as long as you can qualify for the mortgage, as long as you have the deposit, then there's really not too many questions that are going to get asked.
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly. So we use the dirty money to get the deposit. We get a mortgage as big as possible.
Yeah.
And then we use the dirty money to actually make the mortgage payments. So
Wow.
that's one way. We want a mortgage as big as possible because the more we pay back, the better.
Yeah.
Okay. They can manipulate the value also. Here's another way. You're selling a house.
Yeah.
I go in and let's say you're selling it for $1 million. I have dirty money. I'm the buyer, the launderer. I might tell you, I'm going to give you $900 on paper. So we're going to sign a contract together, an agreement of purchase and sale for $900. But the home is worth $1 million.
Yeah.
Sign $900, and the other $100,000 I'm going to give to you in cash, and I'll somehow, some way, put in the bank. I don't know. I don't know how we would do it.
Yeah.
This is where you kind of get down into the weeds, into the fine details.
You get a little creative, and I'm sure that's
but
what.
you know, they figure it out,
Yeah.
and maybe the person has, I don't know, relatives overseas and they transfer money there or something.
But I mean,
I don't know.
if we take a situation like that, I mean, $100,000, it's not difficult to spend $100,000 cash, right?
No, you
So
spend it little by little.
and it's not, and I don't think that would necessarily raise too many alarms. So if someone did that and they went out and bought a $60,000 car cash, people aren't going to question that, and then they spend the rest on whatever. So I feel like that can go under the radar pretty easily.
I don't know, maybe. $60,000 cash on a car, I think would raise some flags. But
Really?
yeah, but if you were to lease that car or finance the car,
Yeah.
you make the payments with the dirty money. That's an easy thing to do. So, but on paper, your $1 million home I'm buying for $900,000.
Yeah.
I give you the other $100,000 in cash. Now I own $1 million home, but on paper it looks like I paid $900.
Yeah.
So I sell it. I'm going to get $1 million for the home.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, that spread between 900 and $1 million is the 100,000 that I get back. It's legitimate money now. If somebody says, "Hey, where'd you get that money?" Well, I just sold the home. I bought it for $9. I sold it for $1 million. I made 100,000 in profit. So that's one way. Or the other way, it's $1 million. I offer you 1.1 because I want a bigger mortgage.
Yeah.
And I make I make payments there with the dirty money.
Wow.
Yeah. Here's another way. I buy a house. Needs a lot of work. Now I'm laundering money. Remember, I'm the dirty guy. Needs a lot of work. I might need to do $150,000, $200,000, $250,000 of renovations.
Yeah.
Maybe $300,000 in renovations. Most of that or all of that, I pay the contractors in cash. And you're thinking, so what? We pay a ton of contractors in cash.
I mean, that's
do me a favor, put hardwood floors in, I'll pay you cash. Happens every day.
Yeah. Wow.
What's the big deal? We try to save taxes. The renovator doesn't declare it.
I see where you're going with this. Okay. Wow.
Yeah. So, but what's happened is I've taken a home that, I don't know, let's just say I bought for $1 million.
Yeah.
Needed a ton of work. I build an extension onto it. I just do a lot of things in cash that can go under the radar. But I might have put $150,000, $200,000 in rentals. But that home is now worth even more than that. It's worth 1.2, 1.3. Yeah. Now I sell it, and all the profit I've made legitimizes my money.
Wow.
But the rentals were done in cash.
That's crazy. And I feel like when we go through the examples, that sounds like one of the easier ones, just because, I mean, it's not uncommon.
Should we rate these? Yeah. Level of difficulty?
It just doesn't seem uncommon. Like, it's not uncommon for a contractor to accept cash for work, right?
It's not uncommon, no.
So
wait, have we screened? Is Revenue Canada listening in on this podcast?
I hope not.
Are we screening the listeners?
We're just providing informational and entertainment purposes.
That's it. This is for entertainment purposes, and again, no animals were harmed in the making of this podcast.
That's insane. That one shocked me. That one shocked me because that one seems really easy to do.
That's why it shocked. Well,
so essentially, all money launderers are just really good flippers.
I guess, yeah, that's one way of putting it. And then when you start dealing with companies buying properties, and you start dealing in businesses, shell companies or overseas companies coming and buying here, the government can't really trace where the money's coming from.
Yeah, that's going to be difficult.
And then here's another way. Listen to this. I buy a house. I'm the launderer. I use some of the means that I've already explained to you to purchase the house. So dirty money for deposit. I'm making the mortgage payments with dirty money. And I put a tenant in the house. It's somebody I know. And I say, you're going to pay me $5,000 a month rent. And I'm going to give it to you every month to pay me.
Yeah.
So I put you in a house that I own, and I say, here's $5,000 every month, you're going to pay me. So I give you dirty money. The minute you give it to me for rent,
legitimizes
it. Legitimizes it. Anyone says, hey, Where are you getting $5,000 a month from?
Yeah.
Well, I have a tenant. He's paying me rent. They're not going to go to you and say, "Where'd you get the money from?"
Yeah.
You got a regular job.
Yeah,
You might
yeah.
be living there with your wife and kids.
Wow.
So one transaction at 5,000, no big deal. Hundreds of these are going on. Thousands
Well, yeah,
of these are going
I mean,
on.
you add that up through the course of a year, it's $60,000 right there, just on
one house,
one property.
one transaction, one property. Yes.
Wow, that's insane.
Yeah. So I'm paying the mortgage with dirty money.
Yeah.
So that the value of the home is the principal and interest are being paid off with dirty money. I'm receiving rent in dirty money. I'm funneling all this dirty money into the system so it comes out clean.
That's insane.
It's amazing how simple it actually is.
It seems like it's so difficult to try and even, because just trying to trace back some of those things, like it's not, like you said, a tenant is never going to be questioned except for by the landlord. A tenant is never going to be questioned as to where they got the money from.
Right, and
right?
I've helped some of my investor clients and some of my clients rent places, and when we go to rent a place or rent out their own premises, I ask for bank statements, I ask for employment letters, I ask for their credit rating, and we check these out.
And that's true,
make sure that these people can afford to pay the rent.
Exactly.
They're going to be our tenants.
Solely to satisfy you and the landlord that this person is capable.
Correct.
But it's not like this stuff's being reported to any agency that will monitor, okay, where the money's coming from. So it's like,
no.
That tenant will never be questioned. That transaction, that entire transaction will never be questioned.
Well, when you start thinking there's billions and billions being laundered, nobody questions the $2,000, $3,000, $10,000 a month tenant.
Yeah.
Well, what if you buy a small apartment building with 20 units, 30 units, and everybody's paying $2,000, $3,000 a month in rent? That $5,000 a month now becomes $50,000 a month or $60,000 a month.
Holy!
And the building was bought with illegal money.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That's insane. So now, like, okay, so we get how big the scope of this is. Like, we're talking 40
and relatively easy to do. Canada is a magnet for money launderers.
So now, okay, we know that there's, $48 billion. That's massive. We know how they do it, but what does this, in terms of, like, we talked about how it affects us every day. Right, your regular buyer, your regular seller. Yet. Well, I mentioned it at the beginning how we're going to discuss how it affects us as regular people that are just trying to purchase and sell property. So let's try and go into that. How does that affect everyone? Anyone that's watching, that's looking to buy a property, that's looking to sell a property. How could it potentially affect that?
Well, the biggest factor in home prices is supply and demand. If a lot of people want a house, and there aren't that many houses, it pushes price up.
Yeah.
It's the law of economics, supply and demand. There are outside factors that affect prices. So when the government comes in and changes interest rates, for example, supply and demand affect prices, but the government changing interest rates are going to affect prices. The money laundering affects prices. Let me tell you how. You're selling a house. You're a seller.
Yes.
Early in the process, when you decided, I'm going to sell, you called a real estate agent and said, hopefully you call me.
Always.
You called a real estate agent.
As everyone else should.
As everyone else should. I appreciate that. You call a real estate agent and you say, I want to sell. What's my house worth? That real estate agent pulls up all the activity in the area, what's happened on the street, what's happened on the street beside, similar homes, and together you guys come up with a price that makes sense. You compare those solds to your home and say, this is what my house should sell for. Let's say that number is $1 million for easy math. $1 million your home should sell for. You put it on the market. I I'm a buyer. I'm a legitimate buyer. I see this home, and let's say for sake of argument, I also feel it's worth $1 million. And why do I feel as a buyer it's worth $1 million? Because I asked my agent, my buying agent, who's looking at helping me find properties. I told him I like this house.
Yeah.
He pulled up all the recent activity, what's for sale, what's sold, and together we decided, yeah, you know what, it is worth $1 million. So I'm thinking of offering you $1 million.
Okay.
There's somebody else who's a launderer, wants to buy that house. That's the house he wants to buy. He offers you 1.1. What are you going to do as the seller? You selling it to me for $1 million, or you selling it to the money launderer for 1.1?
1.1. 1.1, of course.
You're going to be shaking.
Yeah.
You're going to be tripping over yourself. You're going to say, you've heard the commercial, honey, start the car?
Yeah.
This is going to be, honey, get the pen. And you're going to sign that contract before that 1.1 person changes their mind.
Yeah.
And you're going to be excited. I'll tell you what else is going to happen. Your realtor, the listing agent, is going to be bragging how he negotiated the hell out of this. And it's because of his marketing and his negotiation skills that and he's going to send out flyers to the neighborhood, how good of a negotiator he is.
Which is smart.
Or she.
Right?
I guess. and everybody's happy. The seller's happy because you got way more. The launderer's happy. Me, the legitimate buyer, I'm not so happy.
Yeah.
But remember, nobody knows this person overpaid to launder.
Yeah.
We're all thinking that, hey, maybe for whatever reason maybe he's dumb. Maybe he absolutely needed to buy that house. Maybe it's next a couple of doors away from his mother's house and whatever. Who knows? I'm not particularly worried though as the good buyer because I saw a coming soon sign down the street. So I know another house is about to come on the market and I want to live in that neighborhood.
Yeah.
So that new house that's coming up on the market, they're going to go through the same process. He's going to speak to a listing agent and they're going to look at the neighborhood and come up with the price.
Yeah.
So if you're sold for 1.1, do you think he's going to list his at $1 million? No. And just for sake of argument, we're assuming it's the same type of home. He's going to list it at 1.1 or a little more. But let's just say 1.1. Right there, the market on that street went up 10%. Just like that. Because everybody's now looking at the 1.1 sale.
Yeah.
And that's the new norm.
Yeah.
Now, the neighboring streets, they're looking at the same thing. Everybody's jacking their prices up because if you're sold for 1.1, mine should sell for 1.1 and that new one should sell for 1.1.
Yeah.
And what are buyers looking at? If they want to live in that street, they're looking at the recent solds.
Wow.
This is a simple example, but this is how it happens. It's that simple. So now, I'm a launderer. I bought yours for 1.1. I don't want to own homes. That's not my job. My job is to make the money clean. So I resell this home, and this is over a matter of time, but I resell this home to another one of my money laundering friends, and they give me 1.2. So in 2 transactions over the span of, and I'm just guessing in time, 3 months, 6 months, a year, whatever the case may be, 10% and then another 10% higher for easy math, 20%. That market in that neighborhood's gone up 20%. And there's been multiple transactions in the whole area, not just the street, in the whole area comparing to that. So when the legitimate buyer buys and they pay 1.1 or 1.150 or 1.2 for a home that really should have sold for 1.
Yeah.
One of the processes is that the bank sends an appraiser. The appraiser sees multiple transactions because everybody wants to be at that price. They see multiple transactions around that amount. The appraisal works. It comes out. and somebody's overpaid for the home, and the market has gone up.
Wow, so that completely legitimizes
The money, but it affects the average ordinary person who's buying on the street
but it
next door.
legitimizes like an outrageous price, or legitimizes.
Exactly.
That's insane.
That's how it affects us on the street. It's that simple. That's one way. Now, I'm not saying every home you're buying. There could have been so many other factors because the market is strong.
Yeah.
You know, for September, the average price for 843,000, I think it was,
somewhere around there,
for September, is the highest price we've seen across the GTA since May 2017.
And 2017 was when all the craziness was going on,
2017 was
right?
craziness. Yeah, prices went south in April after the provincial government made their market calming changes.
Yeah.
So since May, we've not seen that kind of. So prices are going up on their own. But there's so many factors out there. There's so many, there's supply and demand, but there's so many external factors. And we cannot, for the sheer volume of the amount of money laundering going on in real estate, we cannot discount the fact that some of these prices in some of these neighborhoods, or many of these neighborhoods, are affected by money laundering because they tend to pay more to jack up the prices. So when they sell later, they get more back, or they have a larger mortgage so they can pay it off and legitimize their money.
Wow. That's insane.
That's it. This is Money Laundering 101.
That's insane. And you can't even do anything because you don't even know what's going on. But if we're talking about $47 billion worth of money laundering in real estate in Canada, I mean, it's got to be going on everywhere, right?
It's, well, 100 billion gets laundered in all sorts of areas in Canada every year. They're estimating. They catch one, they know there's 10 more doing it that they're not catching.
Yeah. Wow. That's well, that was interesting. Thanks for that.
I'm glad you enjoyed that.
Thanks for that.
Now you know what to do with your $20 I paid you to cut the grass last week.
I don't know if I can find a property for $20, but
yeah.
Anyways, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed this one.
That's it. Everybody, have a fantastic Thanksgiving. If you're seeing this after Thanksgiving, hope you had a great Thanksgiving. We appreciate you watching this. You need anything at all, even if you just have questions real estate-wise, call Team Sessa. Our numbers are here somewhere. Have a great day. Have a great weekend.
Yes, thanks for watching, and you can see this on YouTube if you just search Team Sessa, and the audio version is available on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and just about anywhere else you can go get your podcasts. So we'll see you soon. Happy Thanksgiving.
Thanks. Bye-bye.